Thanks, Tina. Hello, you're watching Wales Today. I'm Nick Savini. The headlines. Misery for motorists between Anglesey and the mainland as the Menai suspension bridge closes unexpectedly on the weekend due to structural concerns.
We're down to one bridge now and we're feeling the pinch of that. So we're really concerned for people who are travelling to work, people travelling to hospital appointments.
We assess the scale of the disruption as it remains unclear when it'll reopen. Also tonight. Police investigate the theft of Bronze Age jewellery from the St Fagans National Museum of History. With major rises in the number of people seeking a diagnosis for autism, Molly tells us of the impact living with the condition had on her.
We kind of mask all our lives through high school, through education, through university, and then it's like boom, kind of blows up and we can't mask anymore. We're in severe burnout and struggle mentally.
We're backstage at the Wales Millennium Centre for the prestigious Welsh Music Prize Award. There are 15 albums on the shortlist. I'll be speaking to one of the nominated bands and last year's winner.
And in tonight's sport.
James. Decent effort, brilliant goal!
Jordan James in great form and in the Wales squad ahead of the friendly with England. But Aaron Ramsey pulls out, injured again.
Good evening. It's one of only two bridges connecting Anglesey with the Welsh mainland, but motorists have been warned to expect congestion and potential delays after the Menai suspension bridge was shut unexpectedly over the weekend. Drivers are now being diverted to the nearby Britannia Bridge. The suspension bridge had to be closed when engineers found some of the bolts on the beams underneath it needed replacing. It comes after structural issues forced it to close for a number of months, almost exactly 3 years ago. Gareth Wynne-Williams reports.
An island of almost 70,000 people, but just one lane to get in and out. This has been the reality for people on Anglesey since Saturday, following the closure of one of the two bridges spanning the Menai Strait. On Friday, a 3-ton weight restriction was implemented on the Menai suspension bridge. But since Saturday, due to concerns over the enforcement of such measures, it's been closed to all traffic. The reason for closure is that bolts on beams under the bridge need replacing. The Welsh Government say they share local frustrations, but that safety comes first. For many locals, though, with the major hospital and many employers over on the mainland, it's a worrying time.
We're concerned about some of the local residents in terms of their ability to get out. Also, the A5 in Llanfairpwll was very busy this morning and lots of questions about how emergency services might have been able to access people who may have needed their services.
Something needs to be done because what I was saying this morning, what if something happens to the Britannia Bridge? It's only for that to close and we're absolutely stuck then.
I was going to the hospital this morning and it took me 45 minutes to get over the Britannia Bridge. Usually it would take me 10.
It's not the first time Menai Bridge has been forced to close. It was shut for 4 months in 2022 after serious safety concerns were raised. Next year marks 200 years since the bridge was opened, and existing repair work was already expected to continue into the spring. But for businesses in towns such as Menai Bridge, who depend on passing trade, they fear yet another drop in the number of people crossing over from the mainland.
We open at 8. We're one of the only cafes that open that early in the morning. We had none of that today. It was a ghost town until maybe 9:30ish. A few regulars that live very close by, but the people that normally pop in on the way to work, none of that.
According to the Welsh Government, efforts were made to keep the Menai suspension bridge open for cars and motorcyclists. But that feedback from UK Highways A55, the agency responsible for the maintenance of the bridge, around the challenges with enforcement have led to the difficult decision to temporarily close the bridge to all vehicles. No timetable has been announced on when it'll reopen, pending further investigations over the coming days. But for people living and working on both sides of the Menai Strait, it can't come quickly enough.
Gareth Wynne-Williams reporting there. South Wales Police is investigating the theft of Bronze Age jewellery at the St Fagans National Museum in Cardiff. Police say several items were stolen in the early hours of this morning. Well, Colette Hume is there for us this evening. So, Colette, what more can you tell us about it?
Well, Nick, the police were called here to the museum just after 12:30 this morning. We're told that they are looking for two people who got into the main building and stole a number of items, including Bronze Age gold jewellery. Now, St Fagans Museum is one of the most popular visitor attractions in Wales. It has been closed to the public today. Investigations are continuing. It's going to be closed again tomorrow, in part because of a conference, but no doubt those investigations will be continuing. What the police will be looking to do is identify visitors who have been in the museum, who've maybe just come into the museum to look at one or two exhibitions rather than going around the whole site as most normal visitors do. And they'll be looking very carefully at CCTV camera footage, Nick, to try and see if anybody matches the description of the two people who were here last night and who took that gold.
And what's been the reaction to the news of the break-in?
Museum staff that I've spoken to this evening are really shocked. One staff member said that, look, everything that's here is for the people of Wales. Why would someone want to take it? Now, the bad news is this jewellery has been taken with one or two things in mind. One could be that it has been stolen for a specialist collector who's particularly interested in this kind of jewellery and wants it for their private personal collection. Or secondly, it's been taken by people who simply want to melt it down for its gold scrap value. Remember, this is Bronze Age jewellery going back to 2,500 years BCE. The idea that it has been melted down for scrap gold, certainly for archaeologists, for historians, is simply heartbreaking. Nick.
Indeed. OK, Colette Hume at St Fagans, thanks very much. A jury has been shown footage of fireworks being aimed at police during rioting in Cardiff 2 years ago. 8 defendants are on trial at Newport Crown Court, charged with rioting in May 2023 when violence broke out following the deaths of 2 teenage boys in Ely. The court heard fireworks were fired at police, in some cases through a pipe, which one officer said he initially mistook for a gun. All defendants have pleaded not guilty and the trial continues. A trial has begun of 2 people, including a woman from Cardiff, who are accused of stalking the family of Madeleine McCann, who went missing in 2007. Karen Sprague from the Caira area of Cardiff denies the charges alongside her co-defendant Julia Wandelt from Poland. The prosecution described their behaviour as a well-planned campaign of harassment as they opened their case at Leicester Crown Court. The trial continues. A senior Welsh Conservative is warning his party not to ditch Kemi Badenoch as leader, even if the Tories do badly in the Senedd election and the English local elections next May. There's been speculation about her position, even though she's only a year into the job. Samuel Kurtz, the Tories' economy and rural affairs spokesperson in the Senedd, admitted that next May would be tough, but also said that recent polls were underestimating his party. Well, our political editor Gareth Lewis is in Manchester for us tonight. So, Gareth, how much pressure is Kemi Badenoch under?
Well, Nick, there are those in the party who'd like Kemi Badenoch to be given more time. There are those in the Conservative Party too who think that the polling is so dire and the danger actually of irrelevance so great that they need radical change again. Now, looking at those polls, they suggest the Conservatives are trailing badly in 4th place in Wales ahead of that Senedd election in May. And in May, it's not just the Senedd election, it's those English local elections that you mentioned too. So a pivotal time, potentially, for Kemi Badenoch's leadership. I spoke to Samuel Kurtz earlier, and he told me that the Conservatives need to stick with Kemi Badenoch.
It's a test of her leadership. It's a test of the wider leadership of the party in terms of where we are, what we've done over the last couple of years in rebuilding, renewal, as Kemi says it. And look, we've raised a lot of money. I know parties sometimes don't like talking about it, but we've had a lot of support. We've raised more money than the other political parties towards what we're trying to do and our Conservative aims, because the people are believing in what we're doing. They're seeing what's happening in the economy and thinking, actually, Conservative economic values is what we require at this moment in time. So the party fully believes and fully understands where we are, not just in Wales, but you've got the Scottish elections as well, and you've got local elections in England in May. It's going to be the midterms, as some call it, and it's going to be really important that we deliver on those.
And when you say it's a test of Kemi Badenoch's leadership, you know, you've mentioned as well the local elections in England. Is it a test to the point that actually her leadership could depend on and be defined by what happens next May?
Some may think that. I think regicide is the last thing that my party should be thinking of. You and I would have had the discussion on camera, on radio, a number of times in the previous few years when my party went through leaders like a hot knife through butter. That does nothing with the general public. A bit of loyalty to the leader, who's doing a damn good job in bringing everybody back together, in working hard, holding the UK Labour government to account. Think of the wins that we're having, even as an opposition party, around some of the key issues. She's doing a damn good job.
So even if it's bad next May, stick with Kemi Badenoch?
Absolutely,
the answer. Absolutely.
I think she's the right person. And what we've heard from a lot of the speakers on the main stage as well is she gets what's happening more societally in Wales.
Well, look, Nick, Kemi Badenoch has been making the case to be given more time. She told us that, if you remember, on Wales Today last week, and she's made that case again at conference this week. She's outlined plans for the economy, outlined plans for immigration, and this is all part of a message they're trying to deliver to regain trust and credibility with voters ahead of the next general election. But remember, that might be 4 years away. It's a much taller order to do that in 8 months by the time we get to that Senedd election next May. And two sources already over the past 2 days have suggested to me that 8 Senedd members next May out of 96 available seats would be a realistic return. And remember, they won 16 back in 2021 when it was a 60-seat parliament.
OK, Gareth, thank you very much indeed. Gareth Lewis at the Conservative Party conference in Manchester. There's been a dramatic increase in the number of people in Wales seeking a diagnosis for autism in recent years. But a leading charity says so much of the perception of the condition is framed around men that there's a generation of women who have missed out, with some reaching a crisis point as they wait for a diagnosis. Our reporter Meleri Williams has been speaking to one of these women who says she masked the condition for years.
So this is Under Vista Gardens in Abergavenny. I come here a lot, especially with my friend Lucy.
28-year-old actor and writer Molly Siobhan Parker from Pontypool was diagnosed with autism in 2020 after she found herself in a dark place.
I think it was a really difficult time. I was definitely suicidal, and I think from my research around autistic women, it happens a lot with women being late diagnosed. We kind of mask all our lives through high school, through education, through university, and then it's like boom, kind of blows up and we can't mask anymore. We're in severe burnout and struggle mentally.
She had challenges with communication and sound sensitivity, just some of the traits she said she masked.
At first, I really struggled with the diagnosis. I felt that, you know, the way that autism is represented in the media, I didn't see myself in that, and I found it very difficult to get support and get the answers I needed as to what I can do to get better, you know?
Like Molly, 46-year-old Helen Harmon from Lower Machyn near Newport says there's a lack of support post-diagnosis, so she set up her own network.
I run a local South Wales-based walk once a month for South Wales autistic women so that we can get together, because it can be really lonely. One of the common things that people is raised nowadays is it trendy? And the answer to that is no. It's just people have been suffering in silence a very long time.
The latest figures suggest there's been a 133% increase in the number of adults seeking an autism diagnosis in Wales over the past 5 years. Most of the adults were between 26 and 45 years old, and women were the higher proportion of those asking for services last year.
There's much greater awareness and acceptance of autism and neurodivergence, a much broader context of neurodivergence. There is individual support available. We're trying to make it as timely and accessible as possible. Absolutely, there's always a need to do more. We can never go far enough.
The Welsh Government said it's working to reduce waiting times in response to increased demand for neurodivergent services and have invested significantly to improve these services alongside increasing pre-diagnostic support. Back in Abergavenny, Molly has answers now, and she hopes other women will feel more empowered to ask for support.
And if you've been affected by any of the issues raised in that story, details of help and support is available on the BBC Action Line website. Still to come before 7. More injury woes for Aaron Ramsey as he's out of the Wales squad for the friendly with England and next week's World Cup qualifier.
And after Storm Amy, the weather's in a quieter mood this week. Drier too, with only a little rain or drizzle. And we also have high pressure on the way. Join me for the latest forecast.
It's taken nearly 8 years and now the end is finally in sight for the multi-million-pound refurbishment of Bangor Pier. Work has begun on the final section thanks to fundraising from volunteers, with donations coming in from all over the world. The Grade 2 listed pier opened in 1896. Chris Dearden has all the details.
Not a cup of tea or a stick of rock in sight. This is the bit of Bangor Pier we don't see, just the wind and the waves beating against the metalwork. Bangor City Council owns the pier and has already spent over £2 million on these latest repairs. But this final phase is different. Volunteers have raised £40,000 so it can happen.
That's a very good question. Why do we do it? I suppose because we love the pier and it needs doing. You know, what this fundraising has shown us is exactly how many people love the pier. I mean, we love it as a charity. You know, the local people love it. But so many people far and wide also really love the pier.
Far and wide indeed. Donations have come in from as far away as Japan to make sure the pier is in good shape. Bangor Pier has been around for almost 130 years. In that time it's been immortalised in song and even had a section knocked out by a cargo steamer. Then in the 1970s it was declared unsafe and was nearly demolished.
More than just a little over 30 years ago, it could very well have been demolished, but the council stepped in there and rescued it, and they say we have spent a considerable amount of money in the last 10 years bringing it up to what it needs to be, and there was this final little bit which just needed doing, and the friends have come and they've collected that money. Thank you very much. I do want to thank them very much on behalf of the council and on behalf of the people of Bangor.
And the people of Bangor and beyond were certainly enjoying the pier in the sunshine today, unaware of the work that was going on below their feet. There's still more to do. Once the winter weather has passed, the whole thing needs painting underneath. And once that's done, the next job is raising money to do it all again in 15 years' time.
Right, we're going to celebrate some of our finest musicians next as we head over to the Wales Millennium Centre where the ceremony for the prestigious Welsh Music Prize is about to start. Jen is there for us. So Jen, where exactly are you?
Well, I'm backstage, Nick, at the Donald Gordon Theatre, where in just about half an hour, the Welsh Music Prize award ceremony is about to kick off, just behind that partition wall behind me on the big stage. Now, it was set up in 2011 to champion music made in Wales and music by Welsh artists. And I'm very pleased to say that last year's winner, Lem Freck, is here tonight. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
And also one of the nominated bands, Panic Shack, otherwise known as Meg, Romy, Sarah, Emily and Nick. So I got that right. So how does it feel to be nominated?
Amazing, really. It feels great. I'm very chuffed because we worked hard on this album. It's our first album.
Yeah.
So.
We've been going for a long time, so. And it's done really, really well, hasn't it? I mean, it's reached the charts. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we made it to number 32.
32 in the...
And we made it to number 1 in the rock and metal charts.
Yeah.
We beat Ozzy Osbourne, unfortunately, on the week that he died. But
R.I.P.
it was great for us.
So I've read a review of you, and you're described as cheekily raucous quartet. How are you happy with that? A quintet, actually. Sorry, Nick, the quintet.
It's
a classic.
Yeah, we are cheeky and we are raucous.
Yeah,
I would say both those things.
And what would it mean to you to win?
A lot. It would be very cool to be recognised for
our hard work.
Yeah.
And also you win money, which is kind of like the music biz, your skin. I'm not going to lie, touring costs a lot of money.
So £10,000 prize. Well, good luck. I hope you get it. OK, so Lemfrec, tell us about the impact of winning this award on your career.
There's £10,000. I didn't get that. I didn't get that.
You need to have a word.
No, like a massive impact. I think it's so important for the culture, for like Welsh artists to be recognised. So yeah, it was huge.
It was partly set up because it was felt that Welsh bands weren't given enough prominence in the Mercury Prize. Do you think this is going some way towards that?
Oh, 100%. I think it holds weight across the bridge as well. So when you are introducing yourself, you're like, okay, I'm Welsh Music Prize winner, and it's such an important prize.
And you won an award on Saturday, didn't you? A Best Album. Tell us about those awards and the significance.
It's exactly the same. I think when you have those pockets of culture that maybe not be recognised by like the bigger or like the wider world.
But this was a Black Welsh Music Awards, yeah?
Yes, it was. I think then giving people those flowers whilst they're doing and creating the thing is so important. So yeah, huge, and culturally so like great. I felt insane.
Fabulous. Okay, and you're also presenting a TV documentary that's on tomorrow night?
I am. That's what I've got out the suit for. Do you know what I mean? I can't wear trackies all the time. So yeah, that's on at 10 p.m. tomorrow.
Fine, looking very fresh. Okay, Lemfrec, thank you so much. And also to Panic Shack, good luck tonight, okay? And good, you're performing tonight as well, aren't you? So, okay, back to you, Nick.
Great stuff, Jen. Thanks very much. Bit of a gear change next, because it's a tough week ahead for Wales's footballers, and Thomas is here with all the details.
Yes, Nick. A week tonight, Wales face Belgium, needing a win to maintain hopes of securing automatic qualification for the World Cup. Before then, a friendly against England at Wembley on Thursday. Aaron Ramsey, though, won't be involved because of injury. In years gone by, his absence would have been a real blow, but midfielder Jordan James says Wales are better equipped to deal with players pulling out. He scored against Wrexham last week, and at the weekend produced this special moment against Swansea City.
James, decent effort, brilliant goal.
Jordan James is enjoying life on loan at Leicester City. The midfielder arrived at the Wales camp to the news captain Aaron Ramsey is out again. A blow, but one they've long coped with.
They've got a lot of quality and bring a lot of quality to the team. But I think the replacements that we bring in are also top players. So no matter who gets called up or who the gaffer relies on, I think they can do the job as well.
With Ramsey out and Dan James injured, Reuben Colwill, who helped create one of Cardiff's goals in a thrilling win over Leyton Orient at the weekend, is called up. So too Bluebirds teammate Isaac Davis. Carl Darlow, called into action in Kazakhstan last month, is in line to make his first appearance at Wembley. Having repeatedly turned down the opportunity to play for Wales, he was finally persuaded by Craig Bellamy last year. Born in Northampton, he qualifies through his grandfather, Ken Leake, who played for Wales in the 1960s.
The English side of the family and the Welsh side of the family has been... what's that been like in terms of...
They're all Welsh at the minute. Honestly, yeah, they'll all be on my side, and yeah, they're very proud of what I'm doing, and like I am as well. Every time I put on a shirt, I'm incredibly proud to be stepping out a Wales player, and that'll be no different on Thursday.
Bellamy says he's hand-picked England to provide a test of real intensity ahead of a crucial World Cup qualifier against Belgium 4 days later. While Craig Bellamy will spend the coming days fine-tuning his tactics, the closest the rest of us can get to managing our very young football side is on a computer game. In the latest edition of Football Manager, teams from Wales's top women's league have been included, much to the players' surprise. It's hoped it'll help grow the women's game here. Here's Yola Chung.
Like most players in the Adran League, those here in Aberystwyth don't get paid to play. So their inclusion on the latest version of a popular computer game, Football Manager, has come as quite a surprise. For their captain, who's a fan of the game, it's a surreal moment.
It's a bit of a family thing. So my brother used to play the game. Well, he still does play the game. He's on the game himself as well. So now it's really nice that I'm on the game. A lot of the times I used to sign him for my teams. So now hopefully he can sign me for some of his. Obviously you've got stuff like FIFA and you've got like big names like Lucy Bronze and that. You can play as them now. So it's kind of nice that a small town in Wales gets to have the opportunity to be on such a big game.
The league in Wales does include bigger clubs like Cardiff, Swansea and Wrexham, but its profile is still dwarfed by that of professional leagues like England's WSL, which makes being alongside those big names all the more special.
You'd never imagine me, 29 years old and playing for fun, and I'm going to be on a computer game with, people from all over the world seeing it.
It's good putting like Aberystwyth on the map. Maybe people didn't know that Aberystwyth have like a ladies team and how well they're doing at the moment.
It's great not only for us as current players, but for the academy, under 14s, etc., wanting to come up and play, to see they can be alongside their heroes is incredible.
Wales is one of only 11 countries whose women's league will be on the game, but it does mean that for the millions who play it worldwide every year, they'll get the same opportunity to select these players as they would for any of the game's global stars. But video game interest may be one thing. What about real-life support?
For a club like here in Aberystwyth, raising attendances is huge for the league, getting more eyes on the game and sort of getting more hype into the game in terms of these women being able to perform in front of big crowds would be huge for football here in Wales, especially off the back of what the Wales women did over the summer.
The Football Association of Wales have already restructured the girls' academy system, with further reviews ongoing to try and build on the support experienced at the Euros.
So we're in a really exciting period for women's football. We've seen that over the summer. Visibility is increasing, but there's still a long way to go, because if you can't see it, you can't be it. And ensuring that the young girls, but women as well, have these role models within communities, for people to understand that there is a space for every woman, every girl across Wales to be involved in football, no matter which arena they want to be in.
The goal is clear: to make progress both virtually and in the real world.
Yola Chung reporting there. Let's get a full check on the weather forecast for Wales, and thankfully October looks pretty settled. Derek's here with all the details. Hello.
It does indeed, Thomas. Yes, no sign of any more storms on the horizon. This week, much quieter, more settled. Only a little rain or drizzle in the forecast, with high pressure on the way. Back to today, and it was a beautiful autumn day in Caldicot in Monmouthshire. Lots of sunshine there. Not quite so nice in Criccieth in Gwynedd, but it did stay dry with a southwesterly breeze. Temperatures today above average, 16 Celsius in Criccieth, up to 21 degrees in Monmouth, that's 70 Fahrenheit, 21, 6 degrees above the October average. Tonight we have more cloud around, could give the odd spot of light rain or drizzle on some coasts and hills. Blustery winds in the northwest, the lowest temperature around 10 Celsius in Newtown. And then tomorrow, more cloud around compared to today, so it will be a little bit cooler. The cloud could be thick enough for the odd spot of light rain or drizzle, but most places dry. However, light rain will reach Anglesey later in the afternoon. Temperatures not as high as today, but still not bad for October, 15 to 18 Celsius. Now, tomorrow evening, outbreaks of light rain and drizzle in the northwest will slide its way southeastwards towards Newport and Cardiff, drying up in the north, the lowest temperature 9 degrees in Monmouth, 12 in Bangor. Then on Wednesday, light rain and drizzle in the south first thing. That will clear, then it will brighten up. Should be a nice afternoon, fine with sunny spells and mainly light winds. Temperatures 14 to 17 Celsius. Beyond Wednesday, we've got high pressure on the way that will build across the UK during the coming weekend. So the outlook is largely dry and settled. Variable amounts of cloud, a few sunny spells. Temperatures around or near normal, but some chilly nights are likely. And at this time of year, we can expect a few mist or fog patches. So I'll leave you with the summary. A little bit of rain and drizzle, but drier than average. There will be some cloud at times, but a few sunny spells as well. Then we've got that high pressure on the way, settling things down. No sign yet of any more storms. Nick.
I'll take that, Derek. Thank you very much indeed. That's Wales Today. Thanks for watching tonight. I'll be back after the 10 o'clock news. Hope you can join me then. Until then, have a good evening.